Javamir, welcome to your show, the pureish.com.
Thank you very much.
A man of many talents and of many entrepreneurial skills, but Pure Ishq is a million miles away from your original businesses of care homes and children's homes. How did it all come about, Java?
Well, pureish.com was actually a brainchild of both myself and my wife, and it came from the fact that we've got family members who wanting to have the rich days for their kids,
hands in marriage.
Yeah. And do you know somebody? Do you know anyone? My daughter's of this age, my son's of this age, and it's becoming difficult these days because obviously people are, upwardly mobile and moving away from the close communities.
The traditional kinship doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Not for matrimonials.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and people are, it's a different generation now as well. It's not gone from the days when I had my arranged marriage all those years ago. So we decided, we looked around and we thought, there's people out there online which who produce this kind of product, but there's flaws with them. So we thought, why don't we do it? And we kind of do it better. And we thought we'd target the second and third generation of Western Asians who are kind of looking for something in between the traditional route and the completely Western route. And that's the way we've gone. We've kind of aimed it at that kind of demographic.
When you mention flaws, and traditional routes, and finding that middle ground, what do you reckon the gap in the market is? So for example, I can reel off, is it singlemuslims.com, shadi.com?
Yes.
They're some of the most common and well-known ones.
So without going into
detail
on the competitors, we did we had a look at what the pros and cons were for most of them. What we're trying to do is we're trying to keep it a diverse kind of site. You've got the single Muslims and you've got various sites which are very group specific. We don't want to make it group specific. What we want to do is we want people to come in, they identify what their criteria, they identify who they're looking for, and it's up to them whether they want to keep within a group or whether they want to not keep within
a religion or within a country of origin.
So it's up to you. We kind of don't say this is just a Muslim site, this is just a Sikh site, this is just a Hindu Gujarati site, etc. So that was the one thing. The other thing was that with some of the bigger sites, we were finding that the feedback we were getting is that because a lot of them aren't based in the West, in the UK, a lot of their kind of when you put in your search criteria, you end up with somebody, say, from India, who may or may not be what you're looking for.
Sure.
Usually.
So the filters aren't as clinical or as detailed as you might want them to be.
Well, what it is, we get a lot of stories of people who get somebody who contacts them and it turns out to be not what they say they are.
Oh, really?
And they're in India. It might be like a really old man kind of.
But they're making out they're a younger person, and in the UK.
That's right.
So it's like a complete.
So that kind of thing, and also obviously with the newer generations, I think it's less important that they get somebody from back home. They want somebody who's brought up in the environment they're used to. So this is kind of where we're aiming pureish.com. We're aiming it at that demographic who are living and grown up in this Western society, but they don't actually want to look for the old traditional route, somewhere in between, as I said before.
And conversely, are you also catering for people who are not from the UK? So there's a big diaspora in the Middle East, in Dubai, in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh.
This is the beauty of it being an internet, the World Wide Web, right? So basically, it's online, and you can be anywhere. In our initial kind of trials when we were running and checking out the analytics, we were pleasantly surprised. We've got people from not just the UK, we've got people from Europe, and we've got people from the States, and we've got people from other parts of the world, including the Middle East and the subcontinent. And that's, as I said, that's the beauty of the World Wide Web, isn't it? So everyone can, once you're online, you can approach it from wherever you are.
And the fact that you are online, and this is live, Pure Ishq is already live, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes.
What are the initial feedbacks that you're getting since you've gone?
Then it's very positive, and because one of the things we've done is we've tried to make it very fun. Marriage is a serious business, but it doesn't have to be treated seriously. So what we've tried to do is, even our log-on process, when you go on and kind of log on with your details, we made it very visual. It's not like sitting through question after question after question. It's a visual thing. Do you smoke? And there's a picture of some a cigarette. I mean, that sounds.
We're trying to make it like fun.
We're trying to make it fun. We're trying to make it
user-friendly,
easier to get into, more colours. And in addition to that, what we've done is we've, as part of the fun thing, we've put in articles, blogs, etc. I mean, we did something recently a few months back, which was Hollywood versus Bollywood, and that's just a bit of fun. It's not particularly focused on marriage, but it's focused on just having a bit of beyond the marriage
interactivity within the members.
That's right. Yes.
And is it free to join?
It's free to initially look at what's on the database, but then once you want to become serious and meet, talk,
discuss,
whatever. Then you kind of go online. Then you have to actually it's a monthly subscription, and what we've done is we're imminently, and I think by the time this goes out, we will have launched our mobile app. So I mean, speaking today, the Android app should be out in a matter of days. We're literally talking 2 days.
So when people are watching this on Boom TV, on Freeview, or in the Middle East or South Asia,
they'll be able to access through Android, they'll be able iOS, etc. Yeah. So basically, it'll go online, and it ultimately, I think, is going to end up mostly people using it on their mobile platform.
Because don't you think that there's a sad myth in a way that everyone has got their whole love, marriage, relationship all sorted? Because it's not the case, is it?
It's not.
There's so many good people. I know good families.
Yeah.
In fact, just before we came on air, we were talking about an East African friend of mine who shares the same name. I mean, very lovely couple, got beautiful children, but the torment, I'm sure they wouldn't mind me saying, of finding the right rishta for their children, especially their daughter in their case, went on for years. I mean, mashallah, now she's happily married.
Well, it's not easy, and I think one of the other things we do differently is we try to get people to not just look for a doctor or an engineer and all that kind of, the traditional stuff.
Which was the classic, wasn't it? Which was like, it was aiming for a profession.
That's aiming for a profession. This is more about, the way we've tried to put in the search criteria, it's more to do with your personalities. Who do you get on with, and that kind of thing. It's less to do with, I want a doctor or an engineer or whatever, accountant or whatever it is, which was a traditional thing. Yeah, and it is difficult, and I have friends from diverse communities, Sikhs, Hindus, Muslims, the whole gamut, and everyone's facing the same problem. And the problem is, as we said earlier, is because people are kind of moving further afield, and it's not just first marriages.
And living busier lives as well, aren't they?
Busier lives. And it's not just first marriage. I've got lots of friends down in the London area, for example, and they say to me, you know what, the problem is, whether it's first marriage, second marriage, even third marriage sometimes, it's how do you find the time to find somebody?
Yes.
And because everyone's leading such busy lives. And more people, and I think this has got to be the future, where more and more people are going to be thinking, where do I go? Let's go online and have a look.
And I think from what the figures show, there's more people now meeting each other online than there are in any other, whether it be traditional form or a nightclub form, whatever extremes you want to put it to. That a lot of people now.
Well, I think the nightclub thing, you obviously go there for a different kind of reason, really. The thing about pureishq.com is that we are geared towards. We're not a dating site. We're very clear about that.
And that's a clear distinction.
Yeah, it's a clear
You're
distinction.
not out just to meet someone for friendship.
We are there for when you are serious. I mean, you're looking for
getting married.
About getting married, and you're looking for a serious partner. So I mean, there's some kind of age ranges who will not be interested in our site. There'll be some groups who won't be interested in our site. But we know who we're targeting. We're targeting people who are ready to make that commitment, and they want to find somebody, and they want to have a long-term relationship with somebody.
And I mean, even when you think about single Muslims, I mean, I know from being on there, and that's how I met my wife.
Yeah.
It's not what it seems to be at all times, is it? And when I thought it might sound weird as a male saying that, but there's me thinking, it's taken as read that I'm looking for, my partner for life.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily taken that way, or people didn't think that that's what you were really on there for. So there is a whole sort of like, dare I say, a large element of people who can potentially abuse that, or lures people into thinking that, or just out there for the fun of it rather than the seriousness of it.
No, and that's right, and this is why with Pure Ishq, the other thing we do different is that once you've signed on, we've got a vetting process. So if you were to sign on looking for somebody, and once you've actually paid to get serious and have a communication, somebody would phone you, and we would be asking you some questions to make sure that you're in here for the right reason.
Sure.
And if you're not, you'll be out, kind of thing. You'll be off
and
the
that's
side.
part of your terms and conditions.
That's part of what we do as part of the process.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think that would help people.
Because there is a mental block, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, the other day.
I mean, some people would be. I mean, it takes a lot for me to say that I met my wife and that, but in a way, I'm proud of it because
you're a trailblazer.
Well, no, I was just living a hectic life. I was living a hectic life,
exactly,
like I am to this day. And
yeah.
I remember it was a cousin of mine saying, "Listen, what are you prattling around for?"
Yeah.
Right. He goes, "Listen, get on to single Muslims." And
yeah.
I'm the happiest man alive. Met my wife from there. I mean, I'm not sure she's the happiest wife alive.
Sounds like my wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's got a few things to say about that.
Yeah.
And and not is all everything's not so rosy as it may seem.
Yeah.
But that's life. That's life. But the point is, in a stage of my life when I was absolutely up to my eyeballs, I've never really met anyone. Just by going out, never done, because like you said, wasn't looking for that.
That's right. Yeah.
But then to find someone, and for me it was a blessing. It genuinely was a blessing to find someone.
Yeah.
But would I have come across them in any other way, but except for being online? No way.
Probably not.
No way.
Yeah.
But Jabba, what we'll do after the break, we'll talk about some of the, did I say, case studies of not only about people on Pure Ishq, but also about the Pure Ishq. Happy couples program that we're going to be doing.
Sure.
We'll talk about that after the break.
Look forward.
So Jabba, before the break we were talking about the whole value proposition of Pure Ishq.
Yeah.
You're going to be this bespoke matrimonial site. The filters will ensure that there's great quality, but also great safety, because whilst people might be traditional or not, people want to know that they're on the site because for the right reasons, and they're going to meet. Because otherwise, if they have a bad experience, they'll just think it doesn't do what it says on the tin.
Yeah, no, and I mentioned earlier that we put in various blogs and articles. Some of the articles we've put in are about how do you meet safely. If you've decided you want to meet somebody.
The first date, the
first
meeting,
date,
the first chat.
So lots of advice in there about location, how you behave, and how you're sensible and how you're careful. So we've kind of not. It's a kind of education as well as a bit of fun.
And as part of that, we spoke about. We're going to have a series coming soon called Pure Ishq Love Story.
Pure Ishq does love story.
Pure Ishq does love story.
Yeah.
So tell us what that's about, because my humble understanding is that is just talking to couples humbly, irrespective of whether they've been on Pure Ishq or not, of how they met and what's been the secrets to their marriage to date. Yeah,
because obviously a lot of the people we're going to talk to in the first instance are going to be people who've not met through Pure Ishq or through a dating site, but these are people who are just going to talk about the trials and tribulations, I guess,
and triumphs,
of falling in love and working your way through it. So I've got a diverse group of people I've spoken to who are willing to come on TV and
to come and be part of your show.
To be part of the show, and what they're going to do is they're going to talk about what was the positive and what was the negative, and as you say, what were the triumphs in their relationships. And some of the people we've spoken to are in their first marriage, some of them in their second marriage, and so it'll be interesting because everyone will have a different story. And as I've said before, it's a diverse site. I mean, the reason we chose the title Pure Ishq was because it shows the diversity, the combination of the English pure and the Ishq, which is the Asian kind of term. So it kind of shows it's a melting pot.
And Jabba, for lay people like me, what does the term Ishq mean? Because when I've mentioned it to a few people, they think it's almost quite a
Raunchy?
Raunchy.
Yeah. Well, I find that as well. And
so what does ishq mean?
Ishq just means love, doesn't it? And it's pure love.
Yeah.
So basically the word pure supplements the word love.
Yeah.
Now, I too have had that reaction from some people who kind of think, and it tends to be the people who want to be in a specific group. You know,
the more conservative.
The more conservative, and they'll look at the name, and I've had that straight away. And I've had it from relatives. I've had it from friends who've looked at that and they've said, "Oh no, I'll never go on this site. It's got the word ishq in it. It represents something that's not clear, not clear." And they're completely wrong because that's not what it's about. It's and I think we try to supplement the word pure against it to make it clear that it is about people who are serious and not in it just to kind of mess about, as it were. And so coming back to these people we're talking about, I've got friends who are Sikhs who've agreed to come on. The Gujaratis, there's mixed community, mixed pairs,
interreligious marriages.
Interreligious marriages. And whilst we're saying we're not promoting anything like that, we're also saying you're grown-ups in a Western society, and it's up to you whether you want to or not. So when you're
also a reflection of society.
Yeah. And if you come on and you decide, no, I only want to be with my particular grouping, that's fine. If you come on and you say, I'm happy to
extend my horizons. I'm not very religious.
Yeah,
I don't care what religion it is.
Yeah, we're not going to be your policeman. We're going to treat you like adults, and it's up to you to make sure that you decide what you want to do. We're going to give you some guidance and advice in terms of how to do it safely and sensibly. I'm not your mother or your father, kind of thing. You go in there and you decide and act, and you do what you want to do, and we'll help you through the process.
So, I mean, for a man who's done marriage badly to date,
yes.
what are the secrets of marriage? I mean, I'm sure I'd like to interview you and your wife to be in the first program of Pure Ishq Love Story. I mean,
I think it's like most marriages.
You were telling me the other day, like you got lovely grown-up children.
Yeah.
So stood the test of time. What are the secrets of happily married life?
Well, there is no secret. You just got to keep your head down. No, I think it's like most marriages. You kind of. The husband probably thinks he's doing a great job, and the wife doesn't. So it's like I've been married 28 years now, and
wow.
We've had.
No, congratulations. That's going. So that is.
Yeah, well, it's kind of had.
You're too young. You must have got married at 14.
Yeah.
To be married 28 years.
Make sure that stays in.
No, but seriously, it's fantastic, huh?
No, like I said, 28 years, and it's not been rosy all the way through.
Sure.
You've had ups and downs, and it's a case of. I think if you're in it for the right reason, then you ride the wave, as it were.
Sure.
You ride it with the
height. Don't you think in contemporary society, and young people getting married nowadays, because there's also a phenomenal amount of divorces. Is that the concept of riding the wave, as you just put it, is almost doesn't. They don't get it. They don't get it that there's going to be highs and lows, and highs again. They think, well, a lows happen. I don't like you. You don't like me. F you, and bang, they're gone.
It's too easy these days.
Yeah.
But that makes me sound like an old man now, doesn't it?
No,
in the olden days, as it were, you kind of realised, and this is why I think the old traditional ways was you were seen as families marrying into families. So you kind of thought twice about making that knee-jerk reaction. Society's changed, so I'm not going to say what's right and what's wrong. Well, I'm going to say it is, as you said, it's a lot easier these days for people to kind of think, oh well, this isn't working. I'm not going to try.
But don't you think it shows two things in my book? One, a lack of respect for the concept of marriage.
Yeah.
But also a horrific lack of respect for the seriousness of what you've undertaken.
Yeah.
And that if you're going to give up on the first hurdle, let alone second, let alone the 10th hurdle,
yeah.
you don't realise life is full of hurdles.
Yeah.
So a marriage and the relationship of marriage is just one major element of your journey in life.
Yeah, no, I agree. But look, there'll be marriages there which don't deserve to be. Obviously, there'll be those situations where abusive husbands, abusive wives, even kind of thing, and then you kind of need to think about whether that's even worth pursuing.
Sure.
Further.
Or a living death, as I would call it. Some people are
that's
in just horrific relationships.
All that kind of thing. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm an expert in this because obviously we've had our ups and downs in our marriage, and there are times.
I stand up, put my hand up now. I'm a perpetrator.
Yeah.
I've really done marriage badly to the point that yes, I don't have an English legal wedding.
Yeah.
I've had the nikah done, but like I said, I also think there's that famous saying that women are 10 years beyond their age in terms of maturity, and men are 10 years less than their age in terms of immaturity. For the compatibility and the foundations to really be set in stone, it does take a while, even in the best of marriages.
Well, I mean, just if I was to, I hope my wife doesn't
beat you up for this.
Beat me up for this. Mind me saying this is we went through some moments and for some time, and for us, I have to say, our friends, and some of them are going to be on this this show, were very important.
Pillars,
They're pillars. They kind of walked us through it.
Sure.
And that's what you need. You need people who are. Everyone's got different perspectives on life and marriage, and sometimes what you think is marriage isn't what's actually correct. And others who've got a different perspective will say, well, we do this in this way. What about you guys trying this? And that's what you need. And with Pure Ishq, what we've tried to do is we've tried to document that. And I think with the programs we're going to run
within the Pure Ishq Love Story.
Within the Pure Ishq Love Story, people will be able to relate their issues, and from that, others will be able to kind of pick out the little pearls.
Yeah, because
hopefully.
I mean, again, I read somewhere that if the rich and the famous were that happy and that rich, and they wouldn't have the problems they wouldn't have the divorces and the separations they would, because notoriety, let alone fame, let alone your bank balance, does not guarantee you happiness. And there's more than that to life, and hopefully in these programs that will be borne out. But it's a great journey as well.
That's right. I mean, in these programs you'll see people who, and I know people who seem to have sailed through marriage, without apparently any problems. Now, who knows?
Outwardly,
and it's probably like a swan or a duck paddling furiously under the water. But to all extents and purposes, people are thinking, oh, they're sailing through this. They must be doing something right, and maybe they are. And there's others who kind of seem to be always struggling and not getting through it. And I think the learning curve from the various people and their stories hopefully will be useful to others.
And Jabba will probably talk about this on the next show, but don't you think as part of Pure Ishq Love Story,
does love story.
Pure Ishq does love story. That what is also going to come out is, how to ride those waves.
Yes.
That it's not all, the wedding bells are not always ringing, as someone famously said.
Well, it's about learning from other people's experiences, isn't it? So hopefully we'll pick some stuff up.
Yeah, and do you think do you think it'll also, dare I say, one of the things that will come out of this is it'll show people watching these programs how to make the best of their relationships.
Yeah, and it'll do that, and it'll also show, and certainly what I learned was when I got married, all those years, was what I thought was the way I had to behave and the wife had to behave was actually not necessarily the correct way. So from the other experiences, people say, okay, well, maybe that works better.
Well, Jabba, I'm looking forward to getting into the details of this. No, it's just fascinating. It's fascinating. I mean, on Boom TV we have the Shadi show, we have the makeup show, but this is fascinating because one of the most beautiful things you can do is help people come together. Let alone help sustain people who are together who might be going through things. And I think Pure Ishq Does Love Story will go a long way into that. Let alone Pure Ishq, your site that will bring people together. So I look forward to talking more about that with you, Jabba.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Now, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.